So I think everyone heard hybrid cloud for quite a while, and we've rapidly gone into this multi-cloud. Why are we headed in this multi-cloud direction?
Well, I think we're already there, right? It's again, if you look at the consumerization of or consider the consumerization of IT, I mean, the reference point that I gave earlier, you have your iPad here, I've got my iPhone, everybody's got these devices. The fact that there's multiple apps, that our data is not necessarily resident here, and the application that we're using is being driven from somewhere else, that is now making its way into the IT organization of enterprises, or even just the daily operations of of the SMB market. So I think, where we were headed in the conversation down the line here is that it's not necessarily about the fact that we're using multiple clouds. It's actually how do we orchestrate across them? How do we create efficiencies? Create consistent policies, et cetera. It's more of the effective utilization across multiple clouds, not the fact that, and I think what's happened is it's become a challenge. That's why we're talking about it. I think there's a realization that this is already happening. The trend is here. It's not that something specifically had to be done to get us there. Now it's about how do we control it. If I'm a CIO specifically, but more, across all ITs, how do I take most advantage of it? What are the security risks, et cetera, et cetera?
So, sorry, I had a follow-up point on that. And if you think about it, we have this slide in our kind of corporate deck, so I'm not trying to give a sales speech, but data center consolidation, late 90s, global networks, the ability to consolidate IT resources, hub and spoke stuff led to virtualization, which was how do I optimize my resources and get higher consumption or utilization rates. That led to the cloud, which is really that agility phase of front-facing that infrastructure with an API. You now hear about brokerage services, which is the point you were making. How do I control? Now that I can do this, okay, it's great. It's awesome that I can swipe a credit card and use Amazon. That creates a major challenge from a business operations perspective. So this control phase is where you're starting to see things like brokerage. Our view is that's already here, and people are trying to solve for those problems that exist today. The next step is really about how do I have my infrastructure learn about how it's running, apply those analytics to the infrastructure, and make decisions on its own. It's a really interesting concept, sort of like Skynet. How will services be launched automatically on the basis of performance profiles or business requirements, I think is the next phase we're moving into.